All right, we should be live in just a second here. How's it going, everybody? It is the Osmo.com NHL DFS Strategy Show, Wednesday edition, but we've got a huge slate because tomorrow is Thanksgiving for the Americans. Nolan will actually be doing some football content tomorrow. That's at least the word on the street. Is that right?
Yeah, it's gonna be me and Josh Engelman. We're gonna do 1 hour live before lock, just kind of breaking down all three games before the slate goes live. And we've got tons of content as well. Right around basketball lock today, we got 3 showdown articles dropping. Myself, EMAC, and Ben Rasa. I've got an article out for the entire slate, and as well, Alex hopped on the NFL strategy show this morning, and they talked about the Thanksgiving slate with Laffy and Chris Beggs, which is one of my favorite shows all year. It's super entertaining, so go check it out.
Yeah, a little off the wire, or I guess off the beaten path, I should say. They bounced around quite a bit, covered a different variety of topics. So I was actually just watching that before. So I actually do watch the shows that we do. I do like a lot of the content, especially you football guys. I don't play much NBA, but I know they do a great job. But I definitely try to catch as many of our football shows as possible. And then, of course, we do the NHL content. We've got a bunch of stuff for free today and stuff that's going to get hopefully unlocked for the NBA stream. We've got they get huge audiences over there. So if you're watching the NBA show, if you're playing the 14 gamer, I think it's a 14 gamer for NBA tonight. Watch the deeper dive and live before lock because there is a number of likes, as you guys will find out, that will unlock certain premium content. So go over there, support. If you're looking to get find out what's behind the paywall, one piece of content at the time. We allow you to do that, offering free pieces of premium content each day. Today we've got the live blog from Osmo himself, so you can get inside his head and see what he's doing as far as reacting to late news on the NBA slate. Really, really good article, I think, if you're looking to break down the slate and you don't have enough time to kind of grind through news on your own. NHL ownership projections. These are free today, so we can refer to the actual numbers, unlocking those for a big slate. Our Thanksgiving gift to all of you guys. And we actually will be having some sales maybe for Cyber Monday. I don't know if I'm supposed to give anything away just yet, but be on the lookout for that if you're not a premium member. Because I think you're going to want to take advantage of what we've got going on in just a couple days. We are presented by Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports. We love playing over on Yahoo, especially when they're offering guaranteed overlay tournaments. Did you get in those at all, Nolan? Or did you miss out?
I heard about them after they closed.
So they had a 150 max, 75K, I think, in total prizes, only 50K in entries. So they were giving away 25K there. They opened up another 20 max. I got into the 20 max. I finally noticed, so I got in.
Is it still locked now?
It's locked, yeah. So I don't know if they're going to come out with any new rake-free or guaranteed overlay contests. But be on the lookout on Yahoo. Keep this page open and just kind of refresh throughout the night. See if they're sneaking up on you.
Any NBA Friday, they have an overlay.
Ooh, all right. Well, wow.
Okay, so 25K Friday overlay.
That must have just opened up right now. That is, let's talk about that really quick. 25K overlay. It is a 200K prize pool tournament. That is the biggest non-football tournament by a wide margin that Yahoo's ever had, right? I mean, it has to be. That's enormous. And there might be overlay on top of that.
Yeah, there's 25K overlay on top of that. Yeah. Oh, that's nuts. And then, of course, down below you'll find no veterans. But I don't know if that works yet because who's a veteran on Yahoo by this point? Maybe some of the pros are. I don't know.
I'm not exactly sure how they do it.
I'm coming at it from the Canadian perspective because we just got it, so that's probably why.
Yeah. They've had DFS for a while, but I not a lot of people are veterans. But as Yahoo becomes more and more popular, that'll be you're definitely going to want to take advantage if you're a lower volume player and you haven't hit whatever cap it is. I can't remember what it is for Yahoo. It's hard to keep track of all these sites, but go support Yahoo. Use promo code AWESOMO when you do that because you can get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports rewards points. It helps us. You get helped out and get up to $30 in free money for Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports. Vought says gotta play that 25K overlay. It's mandatory. I agree. I don't even play NBA, but I'll just use the tools on our site and
Yep.
I'll fire in like it's max 150. I'll probably fire in like 10 to 20 lineups.
Oh,
And
for sure.
oh, I'm sorry. Wait, did I have the wrong tournament? I
No,
clicked on.
it's max 25.
Oh
So
yeah, I'll max that for sure. Give me some of that.
yeah.
So I'll donate on top of the overlay. I mean, there you go. So should be a
Might even
pretty
have
soft
to take the
tournament.
day off hockey that day. Jake, who
Oh,
knows?
no days off. I think actually hockey. It's kind of weird, and maybe we should talk about it now. I'm planning on doing a show, but I think the main slate is going to lock at 4 Eastern because they
Right.
have those day
Right.
games the day after American Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So just keep an eye out for the YouTube schedule if you guys are looking to catch a show or avoid your families for an hour. I'm planning on doing a show. I don't know if you wanted to hop on that, Nolan, but we could talk about that later. I think there's going
Yeah.
to be a show on Friday.
Hey, and also before we get into the slate, have you played around with this new feature on Fantasy Cruncher, the grid feature?
The grid feature.
Pretty
Where you
cool.
just, yeah, actually, I saw it, I think, on Manny's stream, and then someone pointed out to me when I was going through some stuff where you can just see your lineups. Like if you click on the grid next to the lineup, you can see it. Or what are you talking about here?
Yeah. So if you go up to the view aspect under Crunch, and then you click on the view, and then you go to grid and go to beta, it's helpful. I've been getting some tips from some of our top players like Tom and Osimo about how they build their lineups. And one of the things, they don't really do this as much for NHL, but for others, what they'll do is kind of without giving too much away, they will you know crunch a huge number of lineups and then kind of go down and sort via ownership and kind of look at which outliers there are in projection totals, and then try to find the lower owned ones that are still highly projected lineups. So that's a good strategy. I don't know how good it is for hockey just yet because our ownership projections are still in the beta stage, so I'm not sure I would get in on that too much. But a really interesting conversation and some good tidbits with him yesterday, and so I'm going to try this out and see just kind of there's so much variance in hockey. It's sort of tough to do that, but it's also nice to have to have some low projected ownership lineups that are also projected well, right?
No,
So
I mean that's a process I use as well.
nice.
And so I use it for baseball. I've been using it actually, really kind of honing in on my process for NHL, and that's why I think I've had some success lately and just getting away from like the chalky double stacks that are going to be paired together. I think I've done
Yeah.
a better job of doing that, or at least pairing them with kind of some funky defensemen that might go under own if you do get to a chalky stack. So,
Yeah.
we talk about like, one percenters, yeah, they're great or whatever, but in a stacking sport, it's more about the lineup construction as a whole. And so that's why I was talking about like, yeah, I like chalky stacks, but I don't necessarily like pairing them with the chalky stacks. So if you look at a couple of them on the on our ownership projections for today, like we've got Toronto 2 going to be a popular filler. Maybe you want to get away from playing them with I guess Toronto 1's pretty chalky, but like the McKinnon line, like that's going to be you're going to have a better chance of being duped if you play that lineup. I'm not saying I won't do it, but if you do that, make sure you're getting weird with your defenseman. If it fits really easily, it probably is going to get duped, especially in a stacking sport like hockey that's 3-3. A lot of people do 3-3 on these bigger slates and then just hammer the top projected defenseman. So
Yeah, exactly.
just be aware of that kind of stuff. And that's why they're so good. Tom and Alex have made a killing doing that in all different kinds of sports, NFL, NBA, NHL. So yeah, no, that's a really awesome new feature from Fantasy Cruncher. If you want to join, use promo code Hit the Ice to get 50% off your first month of any Osmo Plus monthly package. All right, man. Let's go through last night really quick. It was a 3-gamer. How'd you end up doing? Did you end up playing this at all?
Yeah, I did, and like didn't do too well, but I was actually panicking and like taking out a bunch of I did this style of crunch yesterday and just got so many double Boston stacks in my lineups, and so like as close to lock, it's like, damn, I really don't want this much these many Josh stacks in Boston,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't win. I don't think like really the Boston stacks like the guy who won the GPP. I don't know if he had double stacks or not.
He did. So I've got the $10 lineup pulled up. It wasn't the only way you could kind of get it done, but you needed like 4 to 5, I think, Boston skaters.
Yeah, you needed like
at a
who was it? Like Bjork,
So you needed
Coyle.
So Pasternak obviously 37.5 points. Hockey Don took it down Single lineup, really cool when
Yeah.
that happens. It can happen, but not necessarily the type of term I would play with one lineup unless you're just playing higher stakes. You're playing cash and you just throw it in the $8 or the $10 or $8, whatever it is, on the given night. I think that's fine.
Mhm.
But yeah, single lineup just went 6-man Boston stack with Halak. So I actually like this strategy a lot for, especially for like a 3-game slate, 2-game slate, and maybe even like 4 games. Punted with Ben Sherratt at 3,600. Brandon Saad was his other non-Boston skater, 14.5, so got good production out of them. And then he went Coyle, Krejci, Marchand, Pasternak. So full Boston one with Coyle and Bjork. So what I would like to do more often, and this is also why I didn't win, would be like Coyle with the min salary Studnicka kid, instead of Bjork, and just get like 2 lines. So you're like capturing like 2 lines worth of goals if the team does go off and score 8 goals like Boston did. Correlated goalie, I love that, especially if you're onslaughting. I mean, if they get up early, you're probably going to see some low danger shots from a guy like Halak, and that's exactly what happened. He got the save bonus, he got the win, and yeah, just nailed his one off. So really nice job here. Like the onslaught, especially for shorter slates. Laker Great was up there. Laker Great with 141 lineups. I think B. Kreider was also up there as well. Laker Great took down 3rd and 4th. His top lineup only had 4 Boston skaters: Coyle, Marchand, Pasternak. So unconventional Boston 4-man. 3-man wild stack: Fiala, Parisi, Suter. He actually could have taken this down pretty easily because they were close a number of times last night. Fiala hit a post. I know Parisi had a couple high danger chances right in there. Suter got a goal taken away, and it turned into an assist. So could have been a really big night for Laker Great. Dickinson one off. Halak in net was kind of a priority, or you kind of needed him to have a ton of success last night. Looking at my lineups, I profited $60, so that is more than a win. I'll take that all day. Is that right? I thought I profited a little bit more than that, but anyways, I eked out just a tiny bit of profit, so felt pretty good about that. Bunch of familiar names up top, and we need to get into these games. I think a couple of them are going to go pretty quick, but no big deal if we go a little bit over time. They've got their other streaming; they can go live whenever. But we want to get some people out before NBA gets too far into the deeper dive. All right. You boys need... Well, hold on. We need to address this. You boys need to talk about value price players on slates like they do with NBA and NFL. That is not the same thing. Value is overrated in variance-based sports like MLB and NHL, where the opportunities players have are similar to like your average player. So yeah, you might get a couple more minutes from like a value player or whatever, but that's also going to increase their ownership. So I don't pay as much attention to value in terms of like stacking, like value stacks. Like everyone knows what the good value stacks are, but I don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter to me all that much. Yeah. Just stack. Tyler Lee says, just stack. Yeah, that's what I would do when things go wrong. You don't know what to do with your NHL lineup. Just make a correlated stack.
Yeah, and you don't necessarily need to be running 3-3 stacks. I mean, that's the easiest way to do it, especially if you're new or if you just don't have a lot of time and you want to find some 2 stacks that aren't like crazily owned together. I think it's probably the best approach. But you can get into some power play stacks. You can stack defense.
Absolutely.
Or there's lots of ways to correlate your lineups that are also unique, and we've seen it a lot lately, working more and more. B. Kreider has been having a lot of success, I think, with some really unique stacking options that are still highly correlated, but also original. So,
yeah, man. Let's talk about the games. We've got a pretty boring one, I think, off the top. 2.8 implied total for the Flames, 2.7 for the Sabres. David Riddick and Linus Ullmark in net. Any changes we see here? I saw your line changes article is published. That's a premium tool. If anybody wants access to that, you're going to have to use promo code Hit the Ice. Go ahead.
Yeah. So on the Buffalo side, it looks like we have a new bottom 9 here. Also, if you're crunching on Fantasy Cruncher, make sure to get Zach Bogosian off. It looks like he's listed as on the top unit. He is not. I don't know where that came from. So let me just pull up Buffalo lines here. But why is this just not working today? Yeah, just go to the
Buffalo lines you need?
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Yeah, we've got Olofsson with Eichel and Reinhardt, and then Middlestat, VC, Marcus Johansson. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then Skinner on the third line, which is outrageous. Yikes.
You said Reinhardt.
I know. I try to keep correcting myself, and hopefully it'll just become natural at some point. But he's one I still miss. To me, it's Reinhardt, but I know I need to. We're getting better at pronouncing. We're trying to, at least.
I like it. So as well, injury note here: Rasmus Dahlin is out for the Sabres, and it looks like Brandon Montour played there for about. Took over for him after he went out last game, and it looks like he is on the top unit. I couldn't find confirmation on that. I think what Daily Faceoff is doing as well is just going off of last game. So you may want to give him a manual bump in the projections, because right now I'm getting to nothing.
Yeah, I like the call on Montour. Maybe give him a thumbs up if you have Fantasy Cruncher, or just make a mental note if you're hand building a couple lineups. We'll try to mention like single entry plays. I see Clayton in YouTube chat. Yeah, I always try to mention like my top of the top plays that I would consider, or, if I had one lineup, like this line would be in the conversation, or these lines. So I'll try to mention that as we go. Neither of the stacks in this game are priority plays for me. Eichel, Olofsson, Reinhardt, they've been okay at 5-on-5. Not really great though. And I get that they're kind of cheap, but also good note on the Bogosian call. If you have Fantasy Cruncher, they're going to try to get that fixed. Calgary's just been awful. So seeing them favored here is kind of weird. I don't really have much of anything I like. Maybe you take a Jeff Skinner one off. He sees some better matchups going up against the Calgary depth, but yikes, this game is pretty brutal.
Like, not to go too far down narrative street, but like, it's kind of a weird situation for the Flames. I can't imagine with is Bill Peters is like, I read that he'd been fired.
Yeah, me too.
And then I don't think he's been fired. Like, has it been like backtracked?
That's what it sounds like. They backed off that. I don't know.
So I read a couple Twitter reports saying he's been fired, but it looks like he's not, and he's just like not coaching today as they investigate. So I think the firing's inevitable, but I can't imagine the Flames. Like, it's got to be so tough to be focused on hockey when you're dealing with all this stuff as well.
Yeah, man. And so on a 13-game slate, like,
the
Flames have been bad. That's going on with their coach. Just a terrible situation going on all over the place. So
and not like super cheap either. Like, it's not like they're a bargain because they've been terrible. So
yeah, exactly. That too. Like, if they were 5K or whatever, like they probably should be based on how they're playing. Then sure, but Gio 6,500 coming off a big game. Like, he's going to continue to produce, but I just don't see the Flames generating a lot of offense here. So I like other options at the top. I like the Montour call, and that's really all I got.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Definitely gonna. What is Montour's price point here?
3,800 on DK.
So it's not bad. It's not like, I don't think it's like locked territory.
No.
It's just a good value, kind of like Grizzly, back in the day kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Montour a better peripheral guy though too. So like I think he's like, I think you can one off him is what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. But of course, when we're going with 100% Cody CC, it's gonna be hard.
Yeah, that's true. Just a minutes machine. Let's go to Bruins and the Ottawa Senators. 3.4 implied total for Boston, 2.7 for Ottawa. Tuukka Rask and Anders Nilsson in net. Boston played last night, hammered Montreal. Possible letdown spot here. I'm not exactly sure. Do we see anything newsworthy here?
I didn't see anything. Just that Eric Brandstrom is going to draw in for the Senators. How's our boy Shabbat doing?
Yeah, he's not on the top power play, which.
So it's Dylan DeMello?
Yeah. And DeMello's playing like 20 minutes a game. Like, DeMello's a fine punt option, I think. I'm actually playing a decent amount of DeMello.
Absolutely, yeah. As soon as like Shabbat was ruled out or ruled back in or whatever, I tried to put in some DeMello. It didn't really work out, but I don't think that's a bad call either. Just looking at their power play from the last game to see how much ice time he got, and he got about a 60% share. Yeah. So he was definitely with the first unit.
How could Shabbat not be on PP1? Liquid Demon said, yeah, I don't know, but right now it's DeMello. So
he's not played as well this year, but it's still Thomas Shabbat, and he's still like, that could lower ownership. He's still getting a crap ton of minutes, like 25 to 27 minutes every single game. So I don't hate him here in the spot just because I don't think anyone's going to be on him.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, just a talented defenseman at relatively low ownership. I don't hate it either. But I'm kind of like, if I'm going up into the 5K territory, I'm going way up. like just trying to intentionally and taking like these guys that I think are closer to slam dunk plays, even though no one is an NHL. The guys that have like the 30-point upside as one-off plays, even if you don't necessarily like the stack, like guys that can score a goal and get an assist and the combo meal type guys. I don't necessarily think Shabbat is that tonight. What about stacking here? Are you going right back to Boston 1?
I'm getting to a few of them in the crunches. Yeah, absolutely. But I'm just like not a ton. Like it's not like they're really popping. They're still pretty pricey, but I got no problem with them tonight. I feel like they're probably some chalkier stacks you should avoid with them. You know, the Toronto 2 stands out to me as one that will probably be duplicated a lot. But what are you doing with Boston 1?
I'm probably not gonna get to where they're at on bigger slates. I usually try to get off of them a little bit because they just always get ownership, right? Like they're awesome. With Bergeron, they're a little bit less awesome. The numbers at 5-on-5 actually weren't what I was expecting to see based on the score of the game. And I didn't watch it, so maybe they looked more dominant than what the numbers showed, but they're so good on the power play. I mean, Pasternak is a beast, Marchand's a beast, and you get a little bit of a discount with Krejci at under 6K. So I'm not like writing them off or anything right now, though. I'm actually getting to more of the second line for Boston just as a value. Looks like they're going a little bit overlooked. We've got Coyle at just about 2% ownership and DeBrusk, same thing. So I'm going to be over on that. And then I like the Ottawa side kind of. Well, not kind of. I do like the Ottawa side. Tkachuk, Brown, Duclair, just give me the talent. They've been really good at 5-on-5. And, you know, more importantly, I think I talked about yesterday how Krejci being on Boston 1 doesn't necessarily make them a great defensive line anymore. But they're not going to have to deal with Marchand and Pasternak, and they get to go up against, the second and third lines for Boston, and their numbers are just insane right now. So I'll play all those guys, top power play. Maybe Boston comes out a little bit sluggish. Maybe they treat it like more of a throwaway game. And the price came way down on Ottawa too as well. So give me some Tkachuk, give me some Logan Brown and Duclair. I am going to be healthily over the field on them right now. They're at under, it looks like about 2% ownership right now.
Yeah, so I like that a lot.
Give me some of that. Anything else here? Krug?
No, I think you nailed it. I kind of agree with you. Like maybe it's narrative street, but like coming off a big win in Montreal against a rival, back-to-back games, back-to-back road games. I'm definitely going to be fading them a little bit.
All right, let's go to Toronto. Detroit, 3.6 implied total for the Leafs, 2.6 for the Red Wings. Frederik Andersen and Jonathan Bernier in net. Changes here. I don't know if we've seen the new Larkin line, so if you want to...
Yeah, that came in right before they played. We were thinking it was going to be Athanasio on there, and it looks like it's Fabry. So Philip Zadina drew in. He's also on the power play 1, it looks like. What do we got? Nemeth and Hronik. Doesn't look like anything crazy here on the Detroit side of things. And then on the Toronto side of things, Nick Patan is up on the third line with Spezza and Kapanen. And then just saw this morning that Sheldon Keefe said he's going to really try to play his top 2 lines a little bit more. And we're starting to see that as well. The Tavares line had a 33% 5-on-5 share last game. So I think you're going to see the opposite approach from Babcock, where he's rolling lines and like sending messages, and you're more likely to see these Toronto 1 and 2 just get a ton of ice time. And I think Tavares had his highest ice time as a Leaf last game, 22 minutes. So this is obviously the spot where everyone's going to go tonight. So if you're stacking up Toronto 1, Toronto 2, or Toronto power play, it's not crazy ownership, but I don't know how you get off them in this spot and with the way they're playing. And I feel like just give me some Toronto tonight. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Tavares line going to see the softer matchups, so that's why they're popping as a good value play. I mean, these guys are going to play good minutes. Tavares on the top power play. It's a great power play spot for the Leafs. All that. A little bit of an optimizer play, I think, for Toronto too. So I'm trying to get off of them. At the very least, I don't think they're going to decide my night. Like I'm finding myself right around the field right now. I may cap them even lower. And for what it's worth, we've got Tavares at 14.2, the 2 wingers at just under 10% So I'm actually at 10% right now from what I got in my last crunch. So I just it's fine. You wish they had more power play time together, but yeah, it's Corsi says no chance people are going to play Hyman or Ilya. I mean, I think people who use optimizers are. I certainly will when I play Toronto too. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking like that, but he might be right. I mean, you might see lower ownership than what we're even expecting right now.
Yeah, it could just be a situation where Tavares is 15 and these guys are 5 and 6%.
Sure,
which is fine by me.
Yeah, it's going to be lower owned than whatever we have Tavares at because he's going to be using power play stacks. I think you can power play stack. This could be one of those nights where you see Slewfoot at the top with his power play stack with Matthews, Nylander, Tavares, Riley, and they just go nuts on the PP a couple times. So I like it. Great spot for Toronto, no doubt about that. The Larkin line without Mantha is certainly a step down, but you get a really nice discount with Fabry at only 4,300. So they're also kind of going to be an optimizer type play. I'm actually not getting to much Detroit at all, which I feel like I always get to Detroit no matter what. Here, I'm not really getting to them that much. I think it's a pretty tough matchup for the Larkin line if they go up against Matthews. Like, that line has been pretty decent defensively. So I don't know. It's probably going to be a lot of Toronto side for me. Going to try to get a bunch of Matthews, Nylander, and Janssen. Maybe he's the guy that's left off of that top line stack. And then Riley at 5,500, really good price for him now that he's priced down a little bit. So got to include him in the power play stack, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. And at Detroit still, their penalty kill is about bottom 5 in the league. So definitely appealing to do some power play stacks, but you're not going to be catching anyone by surprise there. So I don't know, maybe get unique. Maybe you pop in Barry and Riley or something with your Tavares line, and then you kind of could have the best of both worlds. I don't know. Just get a little creative if you're going to be stacking that one up.
Yeah, they're going to be looks like the most popular team of the night. Maybe second behind Washington. Again, our ownership projections are free today, so this is what we are referring to. Data is only going to get better as we get more of it. So, Toronto.
Young team Tyson Barrie now that he's been freed from the.
Yeah, I always like Tyson Barrie, 4,800.
Too cheap.
Yeah, exactly. Both of them are solid options. I forgot about Barrie, even though he's on the screen. I forgot that he is on the top power play now. So, yeah, makes sense. Either one of those guys. And then I don't really have anyone on the Detroit blue line that I'm targeting.
No. What's wrong? Veronic's still getting a lot of minutes.
He's not 46. I mean, that would probably be the guy, but he's not grading quite well enough for me to really be going there that much tonight.
Sounds good.
St. Louis, Tampa Bay, 2.8 implied total for the Blues, 3.2 for the Lightning. We've got Jordan Binnington and Andrei Vasilevsky in net. Looks like new Blues lines I think we saw today. Slight variations.
Yeah, so Matchbox 20, Robert Thomas up on the top line. Sanford with Riley and Perron. I think that was the same last game, wasn't it? Can't remember that. But Barbashev, Bozak, and Sundqvist on the third line, and no one cares about this fourth line. But Troy Brouwer is in. And what do we got on the other side of this one? Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay Stamkos is out again. Corey Conacher is expected to draw in, and Carter Verhaeghe is out. I think that's pretty much it, guys.
You like anything in this game?
I'm not getting much of it.
Yeah,
the O'Reilly line come up in a few crunches.
Really? That's probably more to do with Sanford without like having it in front of me. That's probably more to do with Sanford just being 2,500 and projecting for decent minutes.
And they're both cheap, right? O'Reilly and Perron are both cheap, and shots against per game, the Lightning are actually third worst in the NHL this year so far. It's a small, it's only 20 game sample, but that should mean that there's at least some chance at them piling up some shot totals tonight.
Yeah, I feel like I should be on something in this game, but it's pretty much going overlooked by me. So let's see where we have point, actually. I always like to look at where the center's at. They're going to be pretty low owned, so it's a good chance to get Tampa at low ownership. If you really like the spot for them, I mean, the Blues have not been as good as their record indicates. They've been better, I think, the last couple of games.
Mhm.
Point, Palat, and Kucherov haven't been great so far. Short sample on them. But I'm not really finding a ton to like here, except for McDonough, actually. Of course, he hit on it. I mean, his price isn't going up. He's playing 20 plus minutes. He's shooting. He's blocking shots. And he's $3,300. So I like to play guys in the power play for the most part, but he's a guy that I'm going out of my way to include.
That is
Um,
nuts, man.
yeah,
Like I didn't see that price. That's crazy.
yeah.
Um,
So
22
maybe
minutes
maybe
for
instead of playing Hedman at 6,800, I mean you're gonna have a really tough time fitting in Hedman with Point, Kucherov, and Palat. But
Mhm.
maybe you go with McDonough and just hope for the 5-on-5 ice time with them. I think he might see a decent amount with them. I'm trying to think about how they do it when they're at home ice, but
Right now, so I'll take a look at their last game.
yeah,
But they're on the road because yeah, they're
they're
not
they're
there.
they're at home tonight. So I don't really have much on the blue side. Shen, Thomas, Schwartz. I mean, I guess they're cheap, as is the second line because they've got these cheap wingers. But there's just, I think, way better plays elsewhere. So if I get beat by this game, I'm fine. I get beat by it. I think there's other way better spots. And it's like St. Louis always gets a little bit of ownership, it seems like, just because they're cheap. And like, if you put it in this perspective, St. Louis 1 is getting like 3-4% ownership. Ottawa 1, I like them way better straight up at less than 2%. So, yeah, easy choice for me.
Yeah, absolutely. McDonough getting about 5-6 minutes per game with those guys, so not great, but not great.
Yeah, it's something. Anything else?
It's something.
Actually,
St. Louis 3. Yeah.
St. Louis 3. I was gonna say Tampa 3 as a punt stack. 27 for Paquette, 27 for Maroon, 34 for Yanni Gord, and
They led the team in 5-on-5 ice time as a unit last game too.
yeah. So I actually like that line as a punt, and I'm talking like a few lineups out of 150. I'm not talking about a priority play. I don't think you need them in like a single entry.
I like that call a lot.
Yeah. Been playing some Tampa 3 actually. Carolina and the New York Rangers, 3.6 implied total for the Hurricanes, 3 for the Rangers. Peter Mrazek expected to go against Henrik Lundqvist. He's confirmed. Mika back. What else we got?
Yeah, so Zibanejad is between Buchnevich and Kreider, Panarin, Strong, Keetle, Howden, Kako, Lemieux, Booney, Eves on the fourth line. It looks like they're going Brendan Smith. Is he just a forward now?
I guess so. Yeah.
And so Strong, Kako, Kreider, Panarin, and Anthony D'Anto looks like in the power play. Is that right? No Zibanejad on the power play. So I don't know. I'll have to look into that and make sure that's right because I feel like a lot of these power plays are sometimes off. But yeah, and then on the Carolina side of things, it looks like Nino Niederreiter's up on the Jordan Stahl line now, and Brennan Zingel's down on the third line with Nietzsche's and who is it? Help me out.
Walmart. Zingle with Walmart and Natchez.
There you go. So yeah, not really seeing a ton of ownership here, which is kind of surprising. Yeah. So I'm pretty high on Carolina 2. I guess Carolina 1 really though, the Aho line.
Yeah. So the Aho line, yeah, that's the one I'm looking at as well. I really, really want to be over on them. I think they're going to come in like if you say like 13 game slate, Carolina against the Rangers, I think you'd be like, oh yeah, that's easy, a line that's going to flirt with double digits. But when you talk about Toronto 1, you talk about Washington, we haven't gotten to them yet. Boston 1's on this slate, and they're relatively cheap. And you've got some other lines up there, McKinnon, McDavid. So like, yeah, I think they're kind of going to get left out as far as like upper echelon lines for ownership. And that's a line I think I have to be overweight on because it's just too talented. I was talking about how they hadn't played great in their first couple of games together. I think it was more to do with tough matchups. They played well in their last few games. Maybe they go up against Zibanejad, Kreider, Buchnevich. Not that big of a deal for me. I love Carolina too. So they just keep going up my hierarchy of lines as the day goes on. $7,200 Dougie Hamilton is tough to fit in with them, and that's really the guy you'd want to get to. So Dougie not a priority for me at all. And then it's just all about Carolina too for me in this game. Mika coming back with Kreider and Buchnevich, it seems like a pretty decent spot, right? But with a 3 total, and then you've got a decent top 6 at least offensively for the Rangers. So you like any of these Rangers lines?
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I don't hate Rangers one. I know Slim Cliffy wrote him up in his power plays today, so I will definitely buy into that narrative. And it's not like Carolina is overly tight, but it's going to be, I'm guessing they'll get matched up against the Aho line. Like they'll probably try to keep them away from the Stahl line. So I don't know. That doesn't seem like a great matchup to me, but yeah, I'm okay with some exposure to that line.
Yeah, and just going back to like the single entry play, like I think Carolina 2 is a really fun single entry 3 max type play to mix in, just because of the low ownership, because they're not the best of the best value lines at the top. That's usually going to create lower ownership, and that's what we have it projected for. And they're on the road too. People like playing home teams, myself included. But yeah, I would definitely consider Carolina 2, Aho Svechnikov, Teravainen as a priority tonight. Nothing really on the blue line for either side that I'm seeing, except I like Brady Shea as a punt. He's another one who's not on the power play, but a guy that I'll include some tonight. 3,400. He's just been pretty active. I'm not even getting to my boy Trouba that much, which kind of stinks.
Oh.
It's too bad he's not on the top power play with Zibanejad back. But I don't think these power plays are correct for the Rangers. There's no way they're going to have him on the second unit, right?
I don't think so, but I don't know. Let me take a look.
Okay.
But it's just really hard to get power play information sometimes. Like it's just not.
Vancouver, Pittsburgh. We've got a 2.7 implied total for the Canucks, 3.3 for the Penguins. Jacob Markstrom confirmed for the Canucks going up against likely Matt Murray. It was Yari the last time Pittsburgh played. I think it was 2 nights ago. Anyways, we have $7,100 Brian Rust on DraftKings, $7,600 Gensel, $7,800.
The most pay up to be contrarian spot in the history of DFS right here.
Yeah,
$7,100 Rust.
What do we have them for ownership? Russ has got to be like 0.3 or something. 0.2.
Like, you
there
have
we go.
to pay me to play them. I would not. I would never. Like I was off them at 6,800, and I don't even care. They're the number one line. Great. Kudos to you for playing Brian Rust at 7,100. But my God.
So
what is DK doing? Like they're new. They have a new algorithm. I swear. 0.2%. He might actually be a good play. I'm going to talk myself into it. Right now.
So that's what I was going to say. Like in terms of, never in 100 years would I end up on this line at this price on a 13-game slate if I'm making even like 1, 10, 20 lineups. But I have 150 to play around with. I think if you can somehow get them to, like, if you can find a couple punt defensemen you like, or a super cheap line. I mentioned like Tampa 3 is super cheap. Yes, they're priced like Boston 1. They've been really good at 5-on-5. And I have Vancouver not being a terrible matchup. Probably going to see a lot of time against Pettersson, Besser, and Levo. That line's got a short sample, but they haven't been very impressive. And so, like, in terms of a raw point play, they should be up there near the top. The problem is they're not going to grade out as well as McDavid. They're not going to grade out as well as the McKinnon line, and those lines are cheaper than them. So that's what makes it really difficult here. If they were the top scoring line tonight, I wouldn't think that's outrageous. And I think there's a better chance of them being the top scoring line than 0.2%. So
God, I can't believe you're talking me into this right now.
No. I'm talking about like 3 or 4 shares out of 150. But we'll see if I even get there, honestly. Because it's going to be difficult for them to come up, is the problem. It's going to be difficult for them to even come up. On the other side, anything you like here, or do you like any of the Pittsburgh depth lines?
Not getting to much tonight. No, I'm just kind of like, this game didn't really appeal to me too much. But that's I don't know. Didn't really see much of the crunches. Vancouver wise, like it looks like they're running up pretty much the same lines. Levo, Pettersson, and Besser got. I think Pearson got switched off that halfway through last game. It's Levo up there now. So Levo Gaudette for 10 on the third line. I wouldn't be surprised if they switch that up mid-game if it's not going well. So just be aware.
Yeah, I don't really have much I love. If I was going to a line on Vancouver, it would be the Pettersson, Besser, Levo line. I would take a shot with them, I suppose. Yeah. But yeah, it's not going to be much coming from this game for me. $6,600 Letang. I mean, throw him in there with your Pittsburgh 1 stack, and there you go. You've got no salary remaining. But no, I'm actually not playing much Letang
really
tonight.
nice Toronto too. Pittsburgh one lineup. So
Yeah, yeah, that you could probably fit that.
throw in the $3 and be the only one with it.
That's the thing. Like, there's some merit in just playing a line that no one else is gonna play, and
Yeah.
hoping variance falls your way. Not bad. Let's go to Florida and Washington. We've got a 3 implied total for the Panthers, 3.6 for the Capitals. Sergei Bobrovsky and Braden Holtby in net. This is going to be a really popular game.
But
You
not
see
so
anything
much though. For what I'm looking at, for what I want for the Barkov line,
Oh, okay, for the Barkov line. Yeah. Let's see where we have Barkov.
2% Barkov as well. You're getting a price discount because they've switched up their lines. So Mike Hoffman up on the top line now. Evgeny Dadonov down on the third line with Dominique Toninato and Frank Vetrano. Yeah, so interesting stuff here of Florida. I kind of like Bart Hoffman up there. I don't know what the numbers are for that line.
They're not. I mean, they're solid offensively, not great defensively, but the Barkov's never really that like flashy defensively in terms of like being a shutdown line. So I'm never worried about targeting against them.
Back to him. I guess that means more Eller, but
Yeah. So Eller with Verana and Oshie, I really, really, really love the top 6 for the Caps. So this is probably going to be my highest exposed team, and they're up there in ownership. And it feels weird on a big slate. I'm usually not slamming the Caps, but looks like that's going to be the case tonight, unless we get another ownership update and they come way up or something like that.
what are you seeing that you like?
What's that?
What are you seeing that you like?
Well, I don't think the matchups are going to be that difficult for either of the top 2 lines. They're both good offensively. Maybe we see more Eller against Barkov, Huberdeau, Hoffman, but it doesn't really matter. Like, I think there's going to be scoring chances to go around on both sides. But just the price is pretty good for Washington 1, and their ownership is not out of whack. Bobrovsky has been pretty poor so far this season. The one downside for Florida, or going up against Florida, that I'm seeing is just they don't take a lot of penalties. Only 59 times shorthanded this season. That's second lowest in the NHL, and their kill it looks like above average. So not a great power play spot for the Caps, but they can overcome that and go 2 for 2 or 2 for 3 or whatever. Like, they're that good. So yeah, really, really like Caps top 6.
I like it.
Caps stink. Let's go. Ovi-Wanov. Yeah, I think Ovi-Wanov is fantastic. Per usual, just shooting like feels like as much as he has at any point in his career at this point. I like Barkov, Huberdeau, Hoffman, especially for that ownership you mentioned. I didn't even notice that. So that's going to be a line that I get to some, but I don't think they would be a line that I would like. I don't absolutely love them like I might have loved them in this spot last year against Washington. Doesn't look like they've been that poor defensively. And it's not like you're getting a huge discount, even though you are getting $600 cheaper from Dadonov to Hoffman. So I don't know. Am I trying to talk myself off of Florida 1 for no reason here? Seems like I might be.
No, I don't know. I like the ownership there. I was kind of surprised that it wasn't getting any. I know it's pricey, but I'm definitely going to be over that 3% or whatever.
Yeah. That's probably smart for MME formats for sure. Carlson, 8,100. Get to any of him?
No, that's crazy to me. Yeah, I'm not going to play much Carlson tonight. I mean, he's getting about 5% ownership, so it's not crazy or anything, but or it's not crazy low. Like, if it was like less than 1% at that, I might force him into some stacks, but I don't know. Like, he's going to regress. He's doing it all with assists. It's going to happen eventually. So I'm happy to get off now and see what happens. But
yeah,
too much for me.
No, he's I like Yossi better than him, but he's my next guy at the top here. That's the only thing, is that Yossi's just 1K cheaper. So I don't even have a problem with playing Carlson. Like, I'm playing him around probably double digits, and I'm certainly going to have him in like Washington's 2 stacks. It's hard to fit him with Washington 1, but like Washington 2, you're still getting Eller and Oshie on the top power play. So if Ovechkin's not the one scoring power play goals, maybe you get one from Oshie or Eller, and then you've got Carlson to go with it. Like, it seems like he gets an assist every time they score a power play goal. It's absolutely insane. Yandle, probably the guy you want to go to if you're looking to four-man stack the Panthers, or you could just not play Keith Yandle. I think that's probably the better thing. $4,700, not his worst price actually.
47? That's a bargain.
Yeah, that's not. It's actually not terrible, especially if he's playing top pair. I don't really have much else here.
No, I agree with everything you said. Just maybe a little bit higher on Florida 1 than you, but
fair.
I don't know. Has Washington been as bad defensively? I feel like they haven't been as bad this year.
They haven't been. So I've been running like kind of the same numbers as last year, just to see how teams are at 5-on-5. They haven't been like a heavy target of mine so far this season. They are still taking a lot of penalties, so maybe a good opportunity for
ninth least scoring chances against, middle of the pack and high danger chances against at all strengths. So a lot better than what we had last year, where they were kind of like up there with like the Rangers and Chicago as like the worst defensive teams. A lot of the times we were targeting them a lot. So
someone buy Jake a Yossi jersey, like that. Someone buy Jake a Yandle jersey, don't like that. Do not buy me a Keith Yandle jersey. That is an insult. All right, let's go to the Flyers and the Blue Jackets. 2.6 implied total for the Flyers, 2.9 for the Blue Jackets. Brian Elliott and Jonas Korpisalo in net here. I thought I was going to get to a lot of things in this game. I'm really not right now. So tell me why I'm wrong or right. What are you getting to?
No, I'm right there with you. I didn't get to much. I think the one thing I did notice is that Philly 1 line has been pretty bad defensively. Giroux line, and no changes here on either team. I didn't see, so nothing major. It looks like the Nyquist line got the most run. Nyquist, Jenner, Bjorkstrand last game, so that's probably the best option, I guess. But I'm not super high on it. But I guess it's still a cheap stack, and it's probably not going to get let me just look at how much ownership. Yeah, it's like 1% owned, I guess. So I don't hate going there tonight.
The Columbus quote unquote third line, are you talking about? Yeah. That's the line I thought I was going to get to a lot of. Good prices on these guys, and especially if they're going to get a good 5-on-5 share. I think they're going to see a decent amount of time against Frost with Giroux and Konechny, who they've been really fun for DFS. They haven't been great defensively. They've been really awesome offensively, though. So just high event. I mean, that would probably be the line I would go to on the Flyer side as well, but they're priced way up. So the Couturier line is a little bit better value, but I'm going to try to find a way to jam in some more Jenner, Nyquist, Bjorkstrand. I think that's like a pretty high upside line that won't have to deal with Couturier as much. And some spotty goaltending for the Flyers this whole season. Brian Elliott in net. I don't think it's a bad spot, especially for a low price line at low ownership that is all on the top power play.
Yeah, absolutely. Another good point there, though. Philly's actually, their save percentage has moved up a little bit. They were like bottom of the league, and now they're kind of like trending towards middle of the pack in save percentage. It's high danger save percentage as well. They're kind of middle of the pack. So getting some better goaltending of late, it looks like.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, nowhere to go but up based on how they started the season.
Yeah, has Philly still been great defensively? Like they're been turning down a little bit, but they're still top 5 in scoring chances against.
Yeah, they've been good, and they have also not been taking a lot of penalties. Only 70 times shorthanded in 24 games, so that's a pretty good rate. Good, one of the better penalty kills as well. So they haven't been a team I've heavily attacked, but I like the ownership on Jenner, Nyquist, and Bjorkstrand. Good filler line, and one that's just going to get pretty much overlooked because they're listed as a third line, and people put a lot of stock in that, even though they're playing a good amount of minutes and all on the top power play.
Yeah.
Any defenseman? Werenski, Jones, 6,100 for Jones, 6K for Werenski.
Yeah, not getting to either of those guys tonight.
What about Sanheim, 2,900?
I'd just rather play CC.
Fair. So. That's a fair point. I don't know who I would lean to. Probably whoever we have projected higher. Is it CC?
Oh yeah, CC. Okay. I just did like 200 lineup crunch and got 70% CC.
So, all right then.
Projection is he had 27 minutes last game. He is playing a lot. So at $2,800, I think you could do a lot worse.
Yeah.
So probably a safer floor, not a lot of upside. Mm-hmm. So I can understand not playing him, but.
Let's go to Vegas and Nashville. 2.8 implied total for the Golden Knights. 3.3 for the Preds. Malcolm Subban, UC Saros in net for the Preds. What do we got here? Any changes?
I don't think so. Do you see anything?
No, I think we had Carr with Duchesne and Granlund, and then Yarncroc on the top line with Johansson and Forsberg. Kind of weird to see so much ownership on Nashville 1. And by so much, I mean like, I think they're at like 6% or something for Forsberg and Johansson. It's a fine spot for them. Like, not one where I'm crossing them out, but it's also going to be a really tough matchup for them at 5-on-5. Now, you've got Subban in net. It's not Fleury. That's a pretty big upgrade for the Nashville offense, and I think the implied total is reflected in that. So I'm actually not getting to much of anything that I love here. I'm bumping down Nashville 1. Like, I think they are a little bit overowned. I don't really like Yarncroc on that line. I wish they would put Granlund there and make it full power play correlation. Vegas hasn't been as impressive defensively, but you look at their top two lines, which is where Johansson's going to spend the majority of time, and like just not really either line. You don't really want to attack. At least I don't.
No,
so
I'm just rolling out some. Looks like getting a little bit of Vegas, or sorry, of Nashville 3 here, and some Roman Yossi, and that's about it from this game.
Oh yeah. So the problem is, when I'm running like some power play stacks, I like to include those. Those guys, like, since Yossi, I have Yossi as such a priority. Like, you're gonna get Johansson and Forsberg popped in there, and same thing for the second line. They've also got 2 guys in the top power play, so they correlate to like my favorite defenseman of the night. So I have to get some of Nashville 1. Like, it'd be stupid of me to have a ton of Yossi and then just completely ignore his line mates, because if he has 3 assists, probably someone like a stack goes off on his line. So I have to play some Nashville 1 and some Nashville 2, but like I'm not going crazy on either of the lines. I'm probably going to be a little bit overweight on Nashville 2, looking at where we have them, and then probably a little underweight on Nashville 1. What about Vegas here? Are we just ignoring Vegas?
Yeah, I'm not getting much. It's a little bit surprising, I guess. Like, I certainly understand why you'd want to play them. So makes sense. Their numbers are pretty good. I guess they've been really unlucky this year. There's due for some regression, but I don't know. I guess it's more of a contrarian. They're still kind of priced up a little bit. More of a contrarian play, I think, than anything. But
yeah, man, just like completely ignoring Vegas here, I think is a mistake, and one that I'm currently making right now. So that, like, their numbers are so good. Like you mentioned, they've been unlucky. Nashville has had these games on home ice too, where like they've just gotten crushed against much worse teams than Vegas. So I'm gonna be over on one of these Vegas lines right now. It's probably gonna be the Carlson line that I'm a little bit over on, but they don't come up organically, which I kind of like. It gives me a challenge to try to get some good lineups in there, some contrarian lineups. I just don't think they should be completely disregarded. Let's see where we have. Yeah,
I think that's fair. I mean, like they're still getting like 20. Like Mark Stone got 20 minutes last game, so I don't know. Like Vegas 2 is priced up a little bit, but you still get the bargain for Stastny, and then like Carlson's priced up a little bit higher than he should be. But yeah, I think at that ownership, they're good plays for sure.
Yeah. Vegas 2 did go off last game. That's actually a good call. I forgot about that.
30 points, I think, for Stastny or something.
Yeah. It's Stastny, the guy that finally goes off. Stone hasn't been as great as I thought he would be so far this year, but I'm sure he'll turn it around. Love Yossi. Just want to reiterate that. You can go with Theodore or Schmidt with your respective Vegas line if you're looking to 4-man stack it and hope they get hot on the power play or whatever. But I don't know. I'm getting to more ownership on the Nashville side that I would like, and less on the Vegas side than I would like, which stinks. Anaheim, Arizona, we've got a 2.4 implied total for the Ducks. We have a 2.9 implied total for the Coyotes. Gibson and Antti-Ranta in net. What do we got here?
Doesn't look like much. Just that I noticed your boy Chikrin's finally been taken off the power play because he's so awful. So we got Oliver Ekman Larson back up there. Same thing as always for the Coyotes, just rolling lines, all sort of getting their ice time share. Don't have any new lines for the Ducks. Check the beat writers; they didn't really say anything. We're expecting the same lines. Hampus Lindholm, did he play last game? Yeah, he did. He was a late entry.
Yeah,
right?
he came in late.
So there you go. Yeah, I'm not super excited about this game. Feel like it's going to be pretty low event, but tell me I'm wrong here. You going to Anaheim 3 or what?
No, I can't really tell you that you're wrong here. There's really, I guess I like the Arizona side better if I'm going to a side here, but the problem is like which line do you pick? I have no idea. Like
Game just feels like it has full fade written all over it.
They matched Richardson, Grabner, and Fisher against the McDavid line last time they played at home. So like if they're willing to do that, they're willing to do whatever. Like that's their fourth line. I don't know. It's just
yeah. That line led the team in ice time too, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, you don't have the McDavid situation with Anaheim. Obviously, it's Getzlaf or Kell. It's probably their top line. So maybe they see some time against them, but that means less ice time for the rest of these three. So I guess my initial thought is just play some of Arizona 1, what we're showing as 1 on the screen. Schmaltz with Keller and Kessel. Maybe that's your safest line.
That's the best line. Like highest upside, only 1% ownership across the board. So I don't have a problem with that at that ownership, like that in that price point.
Yeah. So that's probably the one I'll just pick and hope it goes my way if Arizona scores 5 or 6 goals here or whatever. The step on line was also coming up for me, but I have no clue how much they're actually going to play. That's the problem with Arizona and they're playing well too, which is they're not going to switch anything up. They're not going to stack up one line crazy and give them 22 minutes a game. That's just not going to happen. So that's makes it tough for DFS, especially on a big slate. Ekman Larson 4,500, Chikrin 49. I don't really like much on the blue line here.
No.
All right, let's move it on.
No.
Edmonton and Colorado, we've got a 3 implied total for the Oilers, 3.4 for the Avalanche. Mikko Koskinen and Philip Grubauer in net. A couple of big guns going at each other all game. What do we got here for news? Anything?
Sorry, I zoned out there, Jake.
Edmonton, Colorado. McDavid, McKinnon.
Nugent Hopkins is still out for the Oilers. Looks like they're going with the same. I think they made one change in their fourth line, but much ado about nothing. And then Tyson Jost on the second line with Kadri and Comper. And Nieto down with Belmar and Nichushkin. Everything else looks pretty much the same.
Yeah, at this point, you're going to get ownership on McKinnon, whoever he's playing with, and then McDavid and Draisaitl. So you're going to have to stomach some ownership no matter which line or which side you go to in this game. Both are fantastic. I will say the Kadri, just thinking about how Fantasy Cruncher and other optimizers work, like the Kadri line's probably going to come up for some people, myself included, as like a good filler stack. But 2 out of the last 3 games, he's been pulled up to the McKinnon line at some point during the game. So I don't think it makes that much sense to play at least a lot of Kadri, Jost.
But it wasn't. Let me just pull it up here. I think it wasn't really at the expense of that line, or maybe I'm wrong, because I thought maybe they were double shifting him or something. But
right, no, I'm saying for the Kadri, like if you're playing Kadri with Jost and Comfer, because I don't think Kadri double shifting.
No, I mean I don't think so. It looks like they're just switching up. I don't even know what they're doing. So it's like McKinnon, Donskoy, Burakovsky. Then you've got actually Kadri, McKinnon, Donskoy led the team in ice time as a 3-man unit. So if you want to get creative, I think on this slate, and you like Colorado, and you get the power play correlation, I think that's actually a really smart way to differentiate.
Yeah. So Kadri's underpriced. The problem is I don't know how I'm gonna play him. Like if I just take out one of Burakovsky or Donskoy.
Yeah, just do a McKinnon, Donskoy, Kadri stack.
Yeah, that might be the play, honestly.
And then I think you're getting the benefit of possibly getting that line as at full correlation on hit even strength and power play 1. So definitely generating an edge on the field, I think, by doing that.
Yep. That's interesting. When I'm trying to play 3-3 stacks, because I don't want to just disregard Burakovsky and get burned by that if Colorado 1 does go off, but I also would like to figure out a way to somehow get Kadri in or just ignore him altogether and hope they stay. Colorado's top line stays together. So
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't think it's going to matter that much for me. I'm probably not going to be over on Colorado 1 anyways, whatever fashion I end up playing them.
Hmm.
I really like Edmonton 1 here. I think it's a great spot for them at 5-on-5. McKinnon and Donskoy have not been that impressive at 5-on-5 defensively. They've gotten hammered in a couple of games, like giving up 20 plus shot attempts. They play so many minutes. The McKinnon line plays so many minutes. Or I'm sorry, the McDavid line plays so many minutes, so they're going to be matched up a lot during this game, whether it's intentional or unintentional on Colorado's side with last change. So yeah, I think Edmonton 1 is right up there for me with like Washington as top overall stack tonight, if not the top.
Definitely on your own. You're getting about a half as a line. Um, as a line, you're getting about 20% of the ownership if you're including Cassian and just from the top two, Kuznetsov, Ovi versus Draisaitl and McDavid, you're getting about half the ownership. So there's no way that Washington 1 is twice as likely to outscore Edmonton 1.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you just put on your Osmo cap like that, I like that call.
Pricing is probably a little different, but
yeah, Makar 6,400. He's playing really well and playing good minutes, and so I'm playing some Makar with Colorado stacks. I don't know if I want to end up one-offing him at this price, but he's played monstrous minutes lately in a couple of these games.
20 minutes, multiple point games, 2 goals, shooting the puck. So I don't know. I think probably we're going to see him regress a little bit, but man, he's the real deal for sure.
Yeah, he's just shooting at a really good rate, and so for 6,400, I'm probably still in on him for this game. If he goes off and he's 6,800 next slate, well, maybe I'll start to back off a little.
And you're going to make the decision. You'll see.
But big slate, Colorado 1, not that expensive. You can fit him in a power play stack. I also like Sam Girard for 3,100 just as a punt. And then Clefbaum, going to be my guy. I get to the most on the Edmonton side, but he gets difficult to fit in if you're trying to go with McDavid and Draisaitl.
Surprisingly low total here for Edmonton, 3.1.
I mean, yeah, it's all based on McDavid and Draisaitl scoring 3 goals.
3.1 goals, 3.0 goals. Edmonton 2 through 4.1 goal.
Yeah. If I only play one lineup right now. I have Ovi, Kuznetsov, McDavid, and Leon jammed in. The rest of my lineup, yeah, you're not gonna be able to fill out a lineup. So you gotta kind of pick there, I think, and stack kind of one of the two.
That's what I like. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Let's go to the Islanders and the Kings. 2.8 implied total for the Isles. 2.5 for the Kings. Semyon Varlamov keeping the Islanders rotation alive here. They've switched off every single game between Greiss and Varlamov, and then Jonathan Quick at 7,200 for the Kings. What do I like here?
We can start this. We can start this one off with a goalie conversation. Varlamov projects really well for us. Mm-hmm. Highest projected goalie on the slate. Kings are shooting a bunch. Low implied total. So if you're looking for a one-off goalie tonight, I think he's far and away the best choice at 8K. And then not much change-wise. Ross Johnston's out on the Islanders' fourth line. Komarov is in. Islanders 4, the Zizekas line led the team in ice time as a unit last time. They're still pretty viable as they're not really a fourth line at the end of the day. And I think that's it. I didn't see anything on the LA side. So
Grundstrom is down in the AHL, I think.
He was, yeah.
Amadio with Carter Toffoli.
There you go. Add that into the lunches right now.
Let's see. I do. So, what do you think my favorite line is here?
What do I think your favorite line is?
Yeah.
The Carter Toffoli line.
Good guess. I like the Kopitar line the best. I'm very much on the Kings side of this game, even though I understand about Varlamov. He projects really well, and he should. You mentioned the amount of shots the Kings are taking and attempting, and then the low total against only 2.5 goals and being a favorite. Win equity is up there as well. So I actually like the call as a one-off goalie because things like the Kings aren't great, but I think they're going to be able to generate some scoring chances. I talk about the defensive lines or the defensive numbers for the top 2 lines for the Islanders being pretty bad. I think Kopitar, Iafallo Brown is going to be stuck on Barzal, Lee, and Eberle for the most part in this game, and they've just been so bad defensively. Kopitar line coming off a big game where they generated 20-plus shot attempts. They've done that in a few games this season, so some offensive upside. They're all correlated. and they're not really getting owned that much. So give me some Kopitar. I don't know that they're a priority play because I don't think they need to be, but one of my favorite mid-tier stacks, if not my favorite when you factor in the ownership.
Yeah, all right. Well, I will defer to you there. I mean, yeah, definitely not gonna get much ownership. So, looks like about 5%, maybe probably less for the entire line.
Yep.
If
Even less than that. So we've got. I like the value stack of Carter, Amadio, Toffoli. They just keep going completely overlooked when they're cheap. Yeah, I like them too.
We've gone full circle now. Are the Kings a good play?
Yeah, everyone stops playing them and then they become somewhat appealing. And
like
cheap.
last year when they were super cheap and like late slates and
the worst.
And they just would never do anything. So
yeah.
The one thing I forgot. Sorry, Alex Martinez is out as well. So I'm gonna guess that increases Doughty's minutes even more, though I don't know how much higher you can go. He's getting about 27, 28 minutes per game, so it's quite a lot for him. But
yeah, I'm only really playing Doughty in power play stacks. Like he just doesn't really do a ton, even when he's playing these huge minutes.
But he's also not priced up the way he was earlier.
Yeah, that's also fair.
I don't hate him. I don't, definitely in stacks as a kind of assist kind of a guy. So.
I mean, yeah, I just talked about how much I love the Kopitar line, so I gotta.
You talked about Varlamov though.
What's that?
I think you've talked me off Varlamov.
Oh God, I mean, you can like both sides. I think that's the great part about MME.
Yeah.
But I don't really like the Islanders here. I'll say that as far as stacks go. If I had to choose one, I guess it would be the Barzal line. They're cheaper than Nelson, Beauvillier, and Brassard, and I don't think that should be the case. I just think it's a really tough matchup against Kopitar. And are they getting owned because of the price here? Barzal? Yeah, they're higher owned than the Kopitar line, or similar. So I'll take the Kopitar line all day there. Last game? Jets Sharks 2.9 implied total for the Jets, 3.4 for the Sharks. Connor Hellebuck and Aaron Dell in net here. Close it out. What do we got?
Dylan Gambrell down on the fourth line, San Jose. Milker Karlsson up on the third line. Burns kind of getting a little bit more power play time recently than Karlsson, but sort of like pretty much switching them off. And then if you hadn't noticed, Pionk is up on the top power play unit for the Jets as well, and he is $3,700 on DK, getting about 25 minutes. One of my favorite value defensemen on the slate. Also kind of like Winnipeg too here a little bit.
I like both of Winnipeg's lines here. Marleau on the top line is terrible for the Sharks. They got blasted last game. Not blasted. I don't know exactly how many goals they gave up, but they weren't good at 5-on-5. I don't think they're going to be defensively, and they're going to see time against the top six for the Jets, who are both good offensively. They certainly could get there. I just hate playing Marleau at this stage in his career. So I'm going to be, I think, heavier on the Jets side. And it's right now it's probably going to be a pretty even split between the top two lines for me, with a slight lean to the top line just because of the power play. All power play one for Connor, Scheifele, and Patrick Laine. Pionk.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Pionk. Yeah, $3,700. Not bad, right?
I mean, yeah, I'm not complaining about that, especially if I like this Jets side. I'll take some Pionk for that price.
You like second assists and 0 shots. No, he's not bad.
He's not great. You like anything on the Shark side?
Nah, I mean, yeah, I think like they should be good. Like, I'm just curious as the Marleau thing's kind of weighing down that top line a little bit. So I just feel like the way they've got their lines constructed right now, it's just sort of weak all over, and like not going unowned here as well. So I mean, I could see why they're a good play, but I'm just not super excited about playing them. And I think like I'd rather do something like a Kane one-off and a 3-2-1 stack or something like that. I don't know.
I think I'd rather just go Goodrow, Meyer, LeBanc, or you could go Couture, Kane. That's kind of an expensive two-man. It's a good spot for the Sharks' top six. The problem is Marleau just stinks. I mean, maybe he'll double dong tonight and prove me wrong, but I'm probably going to be heavier on the Barclay Goodrow, Timo Meyer, LeBanc trio. They've got two guys in the top power play as well with Karlsson. Karlsson really turning it around here. You had a pretty rough start to the season. Wasn't doing much. 5,900 here. I think he's earned that price, and it's another good spot.
Fair.
Darcy Kemper getting the start for the Coyotes. So there
All
you
right.
go.
Goalie change.
Yeah. All right. Once again, NHL ownership projections are free today. Go check those out. Osmo's NBA live blog is also free. If you guys could hit the like on the way out, that would be very helpful. Helps us continue to do this kind of content for free that you guys seem to enjoy. Shout out to Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports. Go support them. They are doing a 25K overlay Purple Friday special. 200K in prizes. This is NBA. This is an NHL show, but this will be a tournament I'm playing just because you got to take advantage of the overlay. Nolan, sounds like you're going to get into it as well, right?
100%.
Yeah, so whatever. Throw in your lineup. Throw in 25 lineups, whatever you want. You do not see a guaranteed overlay given out. 20K to first, 10K to second.
Crappy contest on DK with 70% rank.
Yep, there you go. Pretty easy decision. We got through the slate. We will have a show on Friday. It'll be me, and if no one's around, or he'll be doing some football stuff. Tell the people where they can find you tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I think, what time does the football start? 9:30 Pacific, 12:30 Eastern. Yep. So we will be on 1 hour before lock. Josh Engelman and I breaking down the slate. If you're jonesing for a NFL fix right now, head on over to the Osmo YouTube channel, which you are watching right now, and I'm really smart. And check out the show from today. It's Alex and
Spags,
and it's super good and kind of funny and light.
Yeah,
but also, interesting and informative. So it should be a fun slate, man. I love these Thursday slates, or these Thursday Thanksgiving slates. My favorite one of the year.
Yeah, it should be fun. Fun week of DFS.
I'm giving out a low owned pick. Right? Are you ready?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Javon Wims.
Never heard of the guy, but I'll probably have some exposure because I'll multi-enter like a degenerate in a sport I stink at. But
you and me both, buddy. You and me both.
All right, thanks for joining, guys. See you back on Friday, and go check out the content on the YouTube channel. Good luck. Spend time with your families, and maybe try to get away for an hour on Friday. See you back in a couple days.
Bam.